Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another live PEP class. This evening we're doing our live curriculum-based test with some sample questions issued by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. So we're going to get right into it as soon as I do my promo. For those who are not yet familiar with our schedule, so here you go. Take a look at this and write down the schedule so you'll know when we have our live classes and so you don't miss a thing. Hello, CSEC math students. I know you are busy preparing for your math test, CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like my new hat? Thank you. Now, another important question. Have you ever gotten a math problem wrong simply because of making one little? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. Now, in this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC math. We're going to look at common errors, demystify everything. Make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So stay tuned. Hello scholars, did you know that get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely. We're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid making them. Are you ready? All right, so she said, take her, and you should do that. So I'm welcoming my scholars in studio. This evening we have joining us Amari. Welcome Amari. We have John. Welcome John. We have Jer so far, and I'm sure that other scholars will be joining us this evening. Come on over and let's cozy up and get some math done. So we go from 4:30 to 6 o'clock Jamaica time. So let me share my screen now so we can look at the questions. So these are the curriculum-based mathematics questions. If you're unable to join us in studio, please join us on the chat, post your answers, post your questions, let us know what's going on with your based on the questions that we're doing. So I'm going to go now to question 1. All right, I'm going to ask Jer to start off by reading question 1.
Okay, miss. Which of the following is not a factor of 4? 1A, 1, B, 2, C, 4, D, 8.
What's your response to that, Jer?
Miss, 8.
Miss
All right,
Miss
what do we
can
mean
Miss I
by,
also say 8.
okay, so Amari is agreeing with Jerry, he's saying 8 as well. So when
Miss, a
we're
factor is
asking,
that the number
what's
can
a
go in.
factor? Say
A
that again,
factor
Amari.
is something that a factor is something that the number can go in.
Are you
Whichever number you're
sure?
in. Yes,
It's
miss.
something that the number can go into.
Wait,
Are you
no, come on.
think about what you're saying? You want to rephrase that?
Yes, please, miss. Miss, can you give me a minute? I'm going to think about it.
All right. Think about it.
Miss, can I say?
What do you say, Jer?
Miss, a factor is when a, a other number can go into.
Factor
Miss,
is when another number can go into another number.
yes, miss. So if
That's
I,
not any clearer than what Amari said, Jer. Which one is the factor? The one that can go into it or the one that is going into?
Miss, the one that cannot go in, which is D, Miss 8. Okay,
What you said, John? What's your
Miss,
definition, John?
okay, Miss, my definition of a factor is something that it can be evenly divided into without leaving a remainder.
Something that can be evenly divided?
All right, sorry, Miss. Miss, a factor is something that 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 that, that the Miss, a factor is something that the number can go into without even a remainder.
You know, you all are giving me definitions that's closer to what a multiple is
Oh,
than what
yeah.
a factor is. Because you're telling me something that something can go into, that's a multiple. The thing that can go into the bigger number is the factor. So a factor is a number that can divide equally into another number without leaving a remainder. The factor is usually the smaller number, usually, and the bigger number is usually the multiple. All right, so we're all agreeing that 8 is not a factor of 4, because if we divide 4 by 8, we will not get a whole number, we'll get a fraction as an answer. All right, Amari, please read question 2.
Okay, Miss. Question 2. What are the next two terms in the sequence below if the pattern continues? Miss, I know. Read again.
Read the sequence.
Okay, Miss.
Alisa, please join us.
Miss, Miss,
Read the sequence, Amari.
Okay, Miss. What are the next two terms in the sequence below if the pattern continues? Okay. A. 85
The sequence,
and 80.
numbers.
Yes, Miss. A. 85 and 80. B.
No, I'm asking
83,
to
70 after the.
read the sequence that they have.
Oh,
Read they give
98,
us
90.
first.
Okay, Miss. 98, 95, 92, 89, and 86. And the answers are
All right.
A.
So what is the
80.
pattern?
Miss, you decreased by 3.
All right. Well, I was allowing Amari to have a turn. What's the pattern, Amari? What are they doing each time?
Miss it, Miss it looks like it's going down by 3. Because 98
Going down by 3.
minus 95 is 3.
All right. So what would be the next two then?
Miss,
What would be the next two?
I would say
Have you worked?
80. Miss, I would say 83 and 80.
All right, and Jer agreeing as well. Welcome Aiden and Najaro. Najaro, please turn your camera on. You're on the screen. Welcome. Let's go to the next question. John, please read this question.
Miss, which operational box make the number sentence be true? 26 3.5 equals 91. Number 3. Which operation should be placed in the box to make the number sentence below 3? Miss, I would say E times.
Okay, so you're saying 26 times 3.5 would give 91. All right, that is correct. It's definitely not
Yes,
adding, definitely not subtracting. If you take 3.5 from 26, you would not get 91. Neither if you divide would you get 91. All right, Najaro, can you read question 4? And your camera is still off, Najaro. Can you read question 4 for me? Are you hearing me, Aiden? All right, back to you, Jer. Question 4.
Okay, miss. Square numbers such as 1, 4, 9, etc. can be formed by adding consecutive whole numbers beginning with 1, which is not an example of this fact. 1 plus 3 plus 5, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus
All the
7.
letters.
A, 1 plus 3 plus 5. B, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7. C, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. Or D, 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 9 plus 11.
So which one is it? Say?
Miss, can you come back to me? I'm thinking. Oh, can I get?
Anyone else have any idea regarding this one? Number 4. So they're saying square numbers such as 1, 4, 9. 1 is a square number because it's the result of multiplying itself. 4 is a square number. It's 2 times 2. 9 is a square number. 3 times 3 and so on. So whereas then we can get square numbers by adding consecutive odd numbers. Start with 1. Consecutive means the next one, not skipping any. So for which one does not follow this rule? So in which case, when we add those odd numbers there, it doesn't give us a square number. That's what they're asking. And in which case, numbers, not consecutive odd numbers. Which one of them has an odd number missing from the line?
Miss letter D.
So you can add. What does D give when you add them up?
4. Miss 20. 29, miss.
That's a square number.
No, miss.
Is 29 a square number?
Evening,
Okay.
No, miss.
Welcome, Alisa. All right, so that's the one that is different. And which odd number is missing from that? That
Seven,
would
miss.
make it consecutive. 7 is missing.
Seven.
So if we add the numbers in A, 1 plus 3 plus 5, we get 9. And if we add the ones in B, we would get, which is a square number as well. And if we add in C, we get 25, which is also a square number. So D is the only one that does not add up to give a square number. Also, there's an odd number missing from the is missing. All right, Alex, please.
Can you repeat?
Question 5, read for me, please.
Okay, miss. The students in 6D were asked to name they played. The data collected is shown in the Venn diagram below.
All right, so we
The
have
students in
2
6D.
in circles. Yeah, go ahead.
Miss, I should
Go
read
ahead,
again.
read it again. Yeah, go ahead, yes.
The students in 6G were asked to name the sport they played. The data collected is shown in the Venn diagram below.
All right, so we have 1 circle for cricket, 1 circle for football, and they overlap. And then we have 10 on the outside in the Venn diagram. It's not in the circles. So here's the question. Read the question, Alyssa, and the options twice, please.
Okay, miss, but I can't see the question.
Oh, you can't see it properly?
No,
All
miss.
right, so let me read the question. It says, what information do you need to determine how many students played cricket only? And that's where they have the question sign in the circle for cricket only. Which one of these information below would you need to determine how many students played cricket only? Is it A, the number of students who played football, B, the number of students who play cricket, C, the number of students who play both football and cricket, or D, the number of students who do not play football or cricket? Let me read those options again. Which one would you need to determine how many students played cricket only? A, the number of students who played football, B, the number of students who play cricket, C, the number of students who play both football and cricket, D, the number of students who do not play football or cricket. Which one, Alyssa, would you need to determine those who play?
Miss, I'm still trying to think.
Huh?
I'm still trying to think.
Does anyone have an answer? I'm not hearing you, Alyssa. Oh, you're thinking?
Yes, miss.
Which would we need to work out?
Miss,
How many play cricket?
miss, can you scroll up for me to see the top, miss, of the Venn diagram?
You need to turn your camera on. Here's the vendor again.
Miss, would it be
Which
B,
information you need to know?
Miss, would it be B, finding the amount of people who play cricket?
That is correct. So if we know how many people play cricket, what would we do to find out how many play cricket only?
Miss, you would
How would we use
add
that information?
Miss, you would add that with the Miss, you would add that with
What?
the people who, the number of people who play cricket with the number of people who play football, then subtract it, and you will get this number of people who play cricket only.
You would add the number of people who play cricket
And football,
to the number of people who football,
then you would subtract
and then what?
then you would subtract the answer you get from the number of people who play both sports, Miss.
No, no, Jer. All you would need to find out how many people play cricket only is to subtract those who play cricket and football from those who play cricket. So that those who play cricket, the whole circle for cricket, if we know that, we just need to subtract the 15 that play cricket and football, and we will get those who play cricket only. John?
Yes, Miss.
I'm not
Okay.
seeing you on the screen. Could you read number 6, please?
Yes, Miss. Number 6. Carl's Bakery occupies a rectangular workspace measuring 8 meters by 4 meters. He expects to increase his workplace by 50% when he moves to a new location. What could be the dimensions of the new workspace? No. Sorry. Number 6. Carl's Bakery occupies a rectangular workspace measuring 80 meters by 40 meters. He expects to increase his workspace by 50% when he moves to a new location. What could be the dimension of this new workspace? A.
So any ideas on that? Read the options, John.
Yes, Miss.
Read the option.
A. 40 meter by 20 meter. B. 80 meter by 60 meter. C. 120 meter by 60 meter. D. 160 meter by 20 meter.
When they say 40 meter by 20 meter, what was saying? What are those? Anyone?
Miss,
What
would
do we
it be
mean? What are those?
Miss 40
Go
by
ahead.
Miss, would that give you the area of the rectangle?
So you're saying 40 would be the area? What would the
No,
40
Miss.
meters and the 20 meters represent?
Miss, the 40 and the 80 would be the length of the rectangular workspace. But when you multiply it and you get that answer
Which one would be
would
the
be the
length?
area.
Which the length?
Miss, would the length be 80?
I'm looking at A. I'm just focusing on A. 40 meters by 20 meters. What would the 40 represent? What would the 20 represent?
Miss, I don't
So you
know.
started by saying the 40 meter length, right?
Yes, Miss.
Well, you were saying something not quite clear because you also mentioned area. So I'm asking, are you saying the 40 meters would be the area or the 40 meters would be the length?
Miss, the 40 meters would be the length.
And what would the 20 meters be?
The width?
All right, so it's a rectangular space. It's a rectangular workspace. And originally, the space is 80 meters by, so that means the length of that space is 80 meters. The width of the workspace right now, the original workspace, is 40 meters. So if Carl is going to increase his workspace by 50%, what would the new dimensions of the workspace be? That's what they're asking. What would be the new length and the new width if he increases his workspace by 50%?
Miss, I think it's C.
Why do you say, what does C say, and why do you say C?
Miss, because for C, the working out for this question is you have to add the 40 to the 80 and the 40 meters to the 80 meters, and 40 is actually half of 80. So you would get 120, then you would find half of 120, and that's 60, and that's what C has.
All right, so let's, so Alisa is saying his workspace by 50%. So Alisa is saying 50% of 80 is 40, and she adds that to the 80 and she get 120. And then she's saying 50% of 40, or half of 40, is 20. And when she adds that to the 40, she gets 60. All right, but so that would be if the lengths are increased by 50%. But let's work out what would the area of the original workspace be. So the original workspace would be 80 times 40. And how much is that? Work out 80 times 40 for me.
Miss, I think that's 3,200.
Yes, Miss,
Hmm?
that's 3,200.
3,200.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so let's look at the answers now. So 40 times 20. So that would be 800. 80 times 60, 4,008. And 160 times 20. If his original workspace was 3,200, meters square, right? 3,200 meters square. That's the space, that's the area he has to work with. And if he's going to increase that area by 50%, so 50% of the 3,200, half of it is 1,600. And if we add that back to the 3,200, we'll get 4,008. So the new area should be 4,800 meters square. So we really need to look now to see which of those dimensions, when we multiply them, we would get 4,800. We can't just think in terms of increasing the length by 50%. Increasing the length by 50% does not necessarily mean we increase the area of the space by 50%. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Excuse me, Miss?
Yes, Alisa?
Miss, I think the width is 80 and the length is 40.
No, the length can't be shorter than the width. The length is the longer side. So the length is 8 meters and the width is 40 meters.
So it's the other
But
way
we have to
around.
right. But what you're focusing on is the perimeter of the workspace, but increasing the area, the area of the space that he has to work on. So his original space was 80 meters by 40 meters. The area of that, so 80 times 40, that's 3,200 meters square. And if he's increasing that by 50%, 50% is a half. So half of 3,200 is 1,600. And we add that back to the 3,200. So his new workspace should have an area of 4,800 meters square. Which of those dimensions given in the options would multiply to give 4,800 meters square? That's what we should find. So that it's not to find 50% of the length
Miss,
and add it to the length. Pardon me?
Miss, I know the answer. Miss, I know the
What's the
answer.
answer?
Miss,
What's
the
the
answer would be
answer?
B. Oh wait, sorry. Miss, I said the answer would be D, Miss. 160 times 20. That would give you.
So 160 times 20 gives what?
Miss, that's 3,020.
Huh?
Don't worry, Miss.
That doesn't give 4,800.
No, Miss.
Which of the options there when you multiply them with 4,800?
Okay, Miss. Miss, I would say 80 times 60.
Right.
Gives you
And what letter is
400.
that?
Miss, that is B.
That's B. So do you see where you went a little sidelined in thinking? You were focusing on the length and the width by 50% and increasing the width. But you should be thinking in terms of increasing the area of the space. You understand? So we need to first work out the original area, the length times the width, and of that, or half of that, which is 1,600, and add it back to the space. So the new space should have an area of 4,800 meters square. So we have to find which dimensions given multiply to give 4,800. And you are correct, John. It is B, 80 meters by 60 meters. So be careful and make a clear distinction between, are we dealing with perimeter, in which it would be just one dimension, just the length, or are we dealing with the space that is covered, in which case it would be the area, or are we dealing with the capacity, how much it can hold, in which case we'd be dealing with the volume. So we have to be really careful and make sure we understand each of those concepts. All right, so whose turn is it to read?
Well, I think it's Amari.
Amari, can you see the slide?
Yes, Miss.
Go ahead and read it twice for me.
Okay, Miss. Number 7. A child was asked to convert 16% to a fraction. There may be an error in the given solution. Equal 16 over 10, line 1. Equal 8/5 line 2 equal 1 and 3/5 line 3. In which line could the possible error occur? Okay, Miss, you can't really see after B, Miss.
So line 1, line 2, line 3, or line 4?
Miss, I think it's
Read
line 1 the error
again,
is in.
Amari.
Read again. Okay, Miss.
Let Amari read again and let him say first what he thinks.
Okay, Miss.
Amari, go again.
Number 7. Okay, Miss. Number 7. A child was asked to convert. Miss, it's getting blurry now. A child was asked to convert 16% to a fraction. There may be an error in this given solution. Line 1 equal 16/10. Line 2 equal 8/5. Line 3 equal 1 and 3/5.
All right, Amari. So where did the student go wrong? Where did he make an error? Jaden, your camera on. Where was the error made, Amari?
Miss, the error was made in Miss line 1. Wait,
What was the error?
Miss, the error was
All right, Alyssa, go ahead and explain.
Miss, it's line 1 because if you're converting a percentage to a fraction, it's over 100. So there should be 1 more 0 there.
All right, that is correct. So he made an error by putting 10 instead of 100. All right, Alyssa, it's your turn now to read 8.
Okay, Miss. The line segment below represents 4 holes. Mario correctly selected point Q to represent an estimation of 220% on the line segment. Which of the following could not be his reason for choosing this point? 220 is just a little over 2 holes. Any
Read the
random point
letters.
between 3 A. 220 is just a little over 2 holes.
Percent.
B. 220% is just a little over 2 holes. B. Any random point between 2 and 3 could be correct. C. Point P is too close to 1 and point R is too close to 3. Point Q is approximately 1/5 the way between 2 and 3, which is 20% more.
Go again, Alyssa.
Okay, Miss. The line segment below represents 4 holes. Marius correctly selected point Q to represent an estimation of 220% on the line segment. Which of the following could not be his reason for choosing this point? A. 220 is just a little over 2
You're
holes.
leaving out the percent, Alyssa.
220% is just a little over 2 holes. B. Any random point between 2 and 3 will be to 1 and point R is close to 3. D. Point Q is approximately 1/5 the way between 2 and 3, which is 20. Miss
All
doesn't
right.
say 20% more.
Pardon me?
Missy
Which
just got
letter
a
you're
little
asking
blurry.
about?
Missy just got a little blurry, but I saw
Oh,
it.
for the last part, asking the last part of D, right, which is 20% more. So which one of them could not be his reason for choosing to put Q where he put it? So Maria was asked to put Q where the best place to estimate 220%. And that's where he put it, where we're looking at where the point Q is on the line. So they're saying 3 of those reasons are reasons that he could have said, this is the reason why I'm putting Q there. Which one would not be the reason why he put Q there? Any ideas? So let's go one by one and see. The reason says 20 is just a little over 2 holes. Well, 100% hole, 200% is 2 holes, and then the extra 20% would be a little over. So that is true. So that could be a reason why he put it just after the 2. So A could be a reason. They're asking us which one could not be a reason. So B, any random point between 2 and 3 would be correct. Could we just put the point Q anywhere between 2 and 3 and that would represent 220%?
No, miss, not really.
No.
No, miss,
So
that's it. Miss, that's it.
that would not be a reason. But let's look at the other 2. C says point P is too close to 1 and point R is too close to 3. That could be a reason, because if it's 220%, you wouldn't put it after the 1, because that would be 100 and something percent.
Miss,
And
or
you
after
wouldn't,
the 3.
right, you could have put it too close to the 3, because that would be almost 300%. And D says point Q is approximately 1/5 the way between 2 and 3, which is 20% more. 20% is 1/5. 20 over 100 cancels to 1/5. So where he put Q, that is roughly 1/5 of the space between the 2 and the 3. So that could have been a reason. So the only one that would not be a logical reason would be B. You can't just put it at any random point. All right, John, question 9 is yours.
Okay, miss. Number 9. Which pair of numbers, when inserted in the box is labeled M and N, will produce a sum that is less than 1? M over 5 plus 3 over N. Number 9. Which pair of numbers, when inserted in the box labeled M and N, will produce a sum of sum that is less than 1%? Wait, sorry, that's less than 1. M
All
over
right, so
5
they're saying where the where the M is there, and where the letter N is, which number would we pair, so that when we add the 2 fractions, we would get a number that is less than 1 whole. So they're giving us some options. So for A, if we put 1 where M is and 3 where N is, we would have 1 plus 3 over 3 is 1 whole, right? So we'd have 1/5 plus 1 whole. Is that less than 1?
No, miss, that's more than 1.
No, that's 1 and 1 more than 1. So that is out. All right, for B, if we put 2 where M is, so we would have 2/5. And if 5 where N is, we'd have 3/5. 2/5 plus 1 whole, that's not less than 1 either.
No, miss.
So that is for C, we put 5 where m is, we'd get 5 over 5, which is 1 whole. And if we put 3 where n is, we'd get 3 over 3, which is 1 whole. We would have 2, 1 plus 1, which is 2. But they want something less than 1, so that can either the final option, if we put 1 where m is, we'd get 1/5. And if we put 4 where n is, we would get 3/4. 1/5 plus 3/4. Work that out quickly and tell me what you get. Find the LCM of 5 and 4. 1/5 plus 3/4. Quickly. What do you get? Are you working? 1/5 plus
340, miss?
What?
340.
No, miss.
LCM
Miss,
is
that is no way.
20.
Miss, I got
What you get, John?
28 out of 20. Miss, I got 28 out of 20, which is, miss, and you convert that to a
So hold on.
fraction.
The LCM is 20.
Yes.
The LCM is 20. 5 into 20 goes 4 times. So we have 4 over 5, because 1 times 4 is 4, right? And 4 into 20 goes 5 times 3, 5 is 15. And 4 plus 15 is 19. So that's 19 over, which is a fraction. It's less than 1 whole. 1 whole would be 20 over 20. So that one would give us an answer that is less than 1 whole. So D is the answer for it.
Yes, miss.
All right, Jer. Read number 10.
Okay, miss. Which two values of x will make the inequality false? A, 10, B, 18, C, 25, D, 29.
Read the inequality.
X plus 5 unequal to 30.
No, less than.
Less than 30.
X plus 5 is less than 30. So which of those numbers, when you put it there, actually which two? Sometimes the PEP question ask an answer.
Miss, I know the answer.
Which two of those numbers,
10
hold
and
on,
18?
John. Two of those numbers is, it will be false. It will be
10 and 18?
not true. You ready, Jim? Go to John.
No, miss, is it 10 and 18?
So if you put 10, what would it read?
Miss, it would be x. Well, miss, it would be 15 less than 30.
And if you put 18 there,
Miss, it would be 23 less than 30.
are those statements true or false?
True, miss?
Is the question asking what is making it true or false?
Miss is asking for what would make it false.
Why are you telling them what would make it true? John, what do you say?
Miss, how, miss, so miss, the question is asking which two values will make the inequality false. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, miss, I have, miss, I would say 29 plus, miss, cause 29 plus 5 would give you about 34, miss. Miss, that's my answer.
Not about 34, exactly 34.
Yes, miss, exactly.
And if you and 34 is not less than 30,
Yes, miss.
that would make it false, yeah. But they're asking for two values. So what's your other value?
Miss C, 25. 25 plus 25 give you 30, miss, and that's not inequality. That's equality, miss, which means it's equal.
Okay, right. So 30 less than 30. 30 is equal to 30. So you see where you slipped there, Jer?
Yes, miss.
And that's a major slip because you have to look over the negatives that are saying which one is not so. In this case, which one would make it not, which one would make it false. So we have to be careful about those. Okay, Amar, question 11.
Okay, miss. 20% of a number in 35. What is the number?
Options and then read the question again.
Okay, miss. A, 7. B, 55. C, 175. D, 1400. Number 11. 20% of a number is 35. What is the number? What is the number? A, 7. B, 55. C, 175. D, 1400.
All right, so what's the number?
Miss, the number.
Which of those numbers when we find
Miss,
35?
Miss, it would be
How are we going to
175.
approach it? Are we
Miss, you would
just going
say,
to pick are we just going to all the numbers and find 20% of them and see which one gives 35?
Miss, I did 20% times 107. Miss, I did all of them, and I said 20% times 175, and then I got 35, miss.
So we're doing it by trial and error,
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
right? Okay. So you did it by try. You tried each one. You found 20% of it, and you got realized that 20% of 175 is. Is there another way we could have done it? Let's say we don't have the time to try each one and see. Is there another more direct route
Miss
to the
30.
answer?
Miss 35 times 70. Wait, sorry.
35 times
Miss, I was saying 35 times 7
times
times 7, miss, but but
35
that wouldn't
times
work.
7?
Miss, but that
No.
wouldn't work.
Any ideas, Jer?
Miss, you could.
What is 20% as a fraction?
Miss 20% of a fraction is 20 over 100.
Reduce it to what?
Miss to 1 over
One
5.
1/4. No, 1/5.
1/5. So we're saying 1/5. So 1/5 of a number is 35. 1/5 of a number is 35. To find the whole number, we just need to multiply 35. Okay, so Italia Nelson just the same thing that I just said. So Italia is saying you can say 1/5 of a number is 35, so you times 30 to get the figure. So she's thinking along the same lines as I'm thinking. So if we express it as a fraction, we get 1/5. And 1/5 of the whole number is 35. The total number we just multiply 35 by 5. So that's one way, that's the better way, Amari, rather than to take each option. Say it wasn't a multiple choice and you weren't given options. So you'd have to know what to do if you don't have options to do trial and error. If that's the only thing you can do, then you go ahead and your trial and error. If you can't think of any other way and you have some hands, then definitely try each one to see if it works out. Are you back with us, Alyssa? Turn your camera
I have to
on.
leave. Miss, I have to leave now.
Thank you for dropping by.
Yes, Miss, bye.
Okay, bye. All right, let's go on to the next question. And Alyssa, I think you can take this one. You're freshly back.
Oh, yes. So, my explanation
So,
for this,
question.
Miss, I have a different explanation
Oh,
for
for
that question.
question 11. All right,
Yes,
so
Miss.
let's go back to question 11. She has another explanation. All right, go ahead.
Miss, I'm using 5 to support me on this one. So 5, 7, 35, right? And 5, 4 is 20. So 7 plus 4 is 11. 5, 11 is 55. 5, 4 is 20. So 35 plus 20 is 55.
Oh, you're
So
saying
Miss,
the
that's
answer
why
is 55?
yes, Miss.
Oh, but that's not the answer
That's
though,
what I
Alyssa.
got.
But let me hear your logic again.
Look, since 5, 7 is 35 and 5, 4 is 20, 7 plus 4 is 11. 5, 11 is 55. So 5, 7 is 35 plus 20, which is 4, is 55.
But why? Where the 5 come from to begin with?
Well, Miss, I just noticed it was a factor.
Okay, but remember, the 20 is not 20 there, no, it's 20%. The 35 is just the number 35. That 20 there is not representing itself as 20. It is representing 20%. So you can't just say, okay, what's a factor of 20 and what's a common factor of 20 and 35? Because there are two different units there. One is a percent and one is just representing itself as a whole number. So 55 is not the answer, Alyssa. But I like the way you're thinking. But the thing though, I don't like when you just grab numbers from out of the thin air. I like when we're able to be logical and work out the problems. If we have no other
Miss,
choice.
it's A.
Pardon me?
Miss, it's A.
No, it's not A. It's 175. Because
Okay, then.
20% is 20% is 1/5. So we're saying 1/5 of which number would give 35. So we multiply 35 by 5 and we get 175. That is the answer.
Okay.
Right. So Alyssa, go ahead and read question 12.
There are 36 students in Bella's class. 16 of them are boys and 20 of them are girls. Bella thinks that the ratio of boys to girls could be written as 36.16. Bella's teacher says she's incorrect. What two ratios could be used to correctly represent this relationship? A. 4:5. B.
4 to 5.
9
That's how we
to
read it.
A. 4 to 5. B. 9 to 4. C. 8 to 10. D. 27 to 12.
Read again, Alison.
There are 36 students in Bella's class. 16 of them are boys and 30 of them are girls. Bella thinks that the ratio of in boys to girls could be written as 36.16 or 36. Miss, how do you read it again?
You read it back
36 to
by
16.
two. Read it by
36 boy,
36
36,
to
36 to 16.
16. We read the whole as 2. Okay.
Yes, Bella's teacher says she's incorrect. What two ratios could be used to correctly represent this relationship? 4 to 5. A. 4 to 5. B. 9 to 4. C. 8 to 10. D. 27 to 12.
All right. Any ideas? John, Amari, Alyssa, anyone in the
Miss, I
chat?
have
Any
ideas.
ideas?
Miss, I
What
have
say
ideas,
you,
Miss.
John? Go ahead.
Miss, what you say me is Miss, the first way to answer correctly, Miss, is put in 16 to 20, Miss, because because the question asks you to Miss, because the question asks to put the ratio of boys to girls, Miss, and there's 16 boys and there's 20 girls, Miss.
Okay.
Miss, the two possible ratios would be C 8 to 10 and A 4 to 5, Miss.
Correct.
Miss,
That's
Miss,
correct, John. So in ratio, we have to be careful with which which um which one is listed first. So they're asking for boys to girls. So we have to put the boys first and then the girls. So there are 16 boys and 20 girls. So it's 16 to 20. So which of those two would cancel down? 16 to 20 is equivalent to 4 to 5, which is A, and C, 8 to 10. So that's correct, John. All right, John, you take number 13 as well.
Okay, Miss. Tony is using a rectangular prism to make the top of a toy house. He wants to know how much cardboard he needs to build the roof. Indicate whether information in the first column is necessary or not necessary in order to make his decision. The number of edges AB, the area of each triangle AB, the length of Miss, I can't see what it says after that.
The
Miss, I don't see
length of each rectangle
the length of each
faces.
yes, miss. The length of each rectangle, the number of faces AB. Okay. Number 13. Tony is using a triangular prism to make the top of a toy house. He wants to know how much cardboard he needs to build the roof. Indicate whether information in the first column is necessary or not necessary in order to make this decision. Information. The, the number of edges, necessary, not necessary. The area of each triangle, necessary, not necessary. The length of each triangle, necessary, not necessary. The number of faces, necessary, not necessary.
All right, so if the roof is it's like that triangular prism, and Tony wants to know how much cardboard he needs to make the roof, would he need to know the number of edges that
Actually, he does,
he
miss.
needs to have?
Miss, he kind of does, miss.
Need to know the area of each triangle.
Oh, yes, miss. Miss, you would need to know the area and the length of the triangle if you want it to be
Would he
equal.
need to know the length of each rectangle?
Oh, miss, that is the length of each rectangle. Wait, miss, but it's only one rectangle, miss. So he doesn't really need to know, miss.
No.
He just needs to build the triangles. So he doesn't.
No, there are three triangular parts.
Miss three rectangles. Uh, that's fine.
It's a triangle.
Yes, miss.
So the three sides are.
Oh,
And you need to know the number of
yes,
faces. Right.
no,
So I'm
miss.
thinking he needs to know
Selfie.
all of this. Would you agree? If he's gonna need
Yes,
to
miss.
work out how much cardboard to build the roof, in my logic, he needs to know all of this information. I don't want it for him to know. Does anyone disagree? Is there anything that you think he does know in order to work how much cardboard he needs? Because from my point of view, I think he would need to. Do you agree or disagree?
Miss agree. Miss agree.
Agreed.
There a little bit for a second that he would need all of this information.
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Right. I think so. Right. That's my logic. That's how I'm looking at it. I need to know all of this. All right. So we have two questions to go. Amari, can you question 14, please?
Okay, miss. Question 14. Examine the table below. Indicate whether the number in column 2 is a factor, a multiple, or neither a factor nor multiple of the number in column 1. Column 1, 16, 28, 30, 50, and 50. Column 2, 8, 7, 20, and 150 is a factor. A, 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 and A.
No, you don't have to read those.
Okay.
Just read the top part. Factor.
Read it again, miss.
Just read
Yes.
the factor.
Is a factor a multiple or neither a factor nor multiple of the number in column
Okay,
1?
so read the question itself again.
Okay, miss. Number 14. Examine the table below. Indicate whether the number in column 2 is a factor, a multiple, or neither a factor nor multiple of the number in column 1.
All right, so looking at the table, we are to say whether each number in column 2 is a factor, multiple, or neither a factor nor multiple of the number in column 1. So let's do this one together. So the first one is done for us. Is it? Oh, no, it's not.
No, miss.
All right,
The
so
other one.
8. The first
Miss 8
row,
is a factor.
8 a factor, multiple, or neither a factor nor multiple of 16.
This is a factor. It's a factor.
All right, so 8 is a factor. How about 7 and 28? Is 7 a factor or multiple?
Miss factor. Miss factor.
Right, 7 can go into 28 evenly, so 7 is a factor of 28. How about 20 and 30?
Miss C. It's neither a factor
So-
nor multiple.
Okay, so 20 is neither a factor nor a multiple of 30.
Yes,
And how about 150 and 50?
miss so
All right, so 50 can go into 150. So 150 is a multiple of 50. So we would shade B for the last one. So
Yes.
going from the top, for the 8 and 16, we would shade A. For the 7 and the 28, we'd also shade A is a factor. For the 20 and the 30, we would shade C is neither a factor nor a multiple. And for the 150 and the 50, we would shade B. 150 is a multiple of 50. Now, this question could be very tricky because if you look at column 1 first, if you don't follow the instruction carefully, it said the number in column 2 to the number in column 1. But if you look at the number in column 1 and want to compare it with column 2, so you would have said, is 16 a factor or a multiple of 8? And you would have circled B. It's a multiple. And for the 28 and the 7, you would have circled B, that it's a multiple. And for the 50 and the 150, you would have circled A, that 50 is a factor of 150, rather than B, that is a multiple. So you have to be very careful with these instructions because you would have gotten the opposite answers if you did not read carefully. It says indicate whether the number in column 2 is a factor, multiple, or neither a factor nor multiple of the number in column 1. So it's always important to read carefully. And that's why I say read it at least twice. Alyssa, number 15.
Okay, miss. Casey wants to save money towards buying a new cell phone. The prices do not exceed 10,000. Her mother gives her
10,000
3,000.
what?
Oh, $10,000. Sorry, miss. Her mother gives her $3,000 to start. She plans to save $300 each week.
500. 500.
$500 each week. Let Mrs. Let
Let's W.
let
Let's
W
W.
represent the number of weeks. Use the symbols in the rectangle below to complete a number sentence that she can use to determine the number of weeks she would need to save to buy the cell phone.
All right, so the options we have: A, greater than or equal to; B, less than or equal to; C, equal to; D, plus; E, minus; F, multiply. So we are to and the number sentence below says $500 times W, and we're to say whether we're going to add, multiply, subtract, whatever, to the $3,000, and then we're to fill in another sign, and there's a 10,000 at the end. So Alice, I want you to read the question again, and then we're going to figure out which of these signs to put in these two places to make the number sentence logical, to make it make sense. So go ahead and read it again.
Casey wants to save money towards buying a new cell phone. The price is due $10,000. Her mother gives her $3,000 to start. She plans to save $500 each week. Let W represent the number of weeks. Use the symbols in the rectangle below to complete a number sentence that she can use to determine the number of weeks she would need to save to buy the cell phone.
All right. So what would we put between the $500 times W and the $3,000? Would we put greater than, less than, equal, add, minus, multiply? So
Makes
W
you put
represents,
$500 is less than 10,000.
No, what we have is $500 W, and then we'd put something there, $3,000 and put something there, and then $10,000. So the W represents the amount of money she's gonna save each week. I mean, sorry, the number of weeks she's gonna save. So which signs are we going to put there so that the whole thing makes sense? Any ideas? Let me see the
Miss,
chat.
Miss, I have an idea, Miss.
Any idea?
Yes, Miss.
Or what would we put there?
Miss, I would say B for Miss will be $500 W less than or equal to 3,000 and $3,000 less than or equal to wait no Miss will be $3,000 equal to $10,000, which will be C. So Miss is BC.
So you'd put $500 W less than or equal to $3,000 equal $10,000. Does that make sense?
Oh wait, no Miss.
No, Miss.
Miss
That doesn't
multiply
make sense.
Miss multiply
So it's so what it's saying is $500 times the number of weeks she's gonna save it for. Remember, the $3,000 is what she's starting with. She got $3,000 from her mom as a start, right? So that $3,000 she have there already, and then for each week she's going to save $500. So it will be the $500 times the number of weeks that she's gonna save. That's why they have the $500 W, because W represents the number of weeks she's gonna save. Some suggestion would be $500 times W plus the $3,000 would be equal to the $10,000. Or we could even put less than or equal to the $10,000, since it cannot go beyond the 10,000, right? The prices don't go past 10,000. So we could put an equal, or we put the less than or equal to. That would still make sense. So $500 W plus 3,000 from mom should be equal to or less than or equal to $10,000. Does that make sense?
no Miss.
Yes, Miss.
It doesn't make sense, Amari?
Yes.
What part of it doesn't make sense to you?
Miss, I made a mistake.
Does it make sense?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, Miss.
Because if she save it for 8 weeks and it's $500 per week, $500 times the 8, because the W represents the number of weeks. If she save for 6 weeks, same thing, $500 times the 6. And then we're going to add the 3,000 that she started with, that her mom gave her, just get her going. And when you add up those now, it must be at least 10. It said the price of the phone will stay within that range. They're not going to increase. It should be less than or equal to, that's still fine. Also there as an option, by the way, let me double, right. Equal to is there. I'm not making out the C option, whether it's equal to or not equal to. If it's not equal to, then we'll go the less than or equal to. But if equal to is there, it can go as well. All right, so that's the 15 questions from the sample batch issued by the ministry for practice for the PEP curriculum-based test. So the curriculum-based test in mathematics, as the name suggests, it is taken from the the curriculum. So all the topics you would need to cover up to grade 6, you have to master those topics: area, perimeter, volume, percentage, fraction, decimals, ratio, a little statistics sometimes coming in, your problem solving skills, critical thinking, all of those come in. So you're testing your knowledge of the curriculum, all the topics that you would have covered. So we make sure what we've been doing so far in our live classes, we make sure to cover every aspect of the PEP. We're focusing on mathematics because that's our forte on this channel. Our focus is mathematics. So we have been doing our ability test practice. We have been doing our tasks. We have been doing our critical thinking practice questions. Today, we have assigned this day for our based test. So I want you to try to tune in to all of the PEP classes. We have 5 PEP classes per week, Monday to Friday. Each day we do a different thing. I'm going to play the video with the schedule of classes right after we wrap up. You can write down the schedule and don't miss one. Or remember, click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we go live with our PEP classes. One exciting thing that we're going to be having starting in the Christmas break, we're going to be having some quizzes where students can compete against each other, and we'll have prizes, of course, so you can sharpen up your skills and be on the quiz and test yourself, see how sharp you are. So get ready for that as soon as we go on break for Christmas, and then we'll continue. So that's when it will start. Thank you, my in-studio crew. Thank you for your assistance. John, Amari, Alyssa, Jer, who had to go earlier. Thank you for joining me in studio. For those in the chat, thank you. Those watching on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and wherever else in the universe you are, thank you for tuning in. We do this all for you. So I will see you on Monday when we come again live with our PEP classes. As usual, I'd like you to say good night to each other and to your instructor. As we do that, I'm going to also be playing schedule as promised.
Nice, Alicia.
Good night.
Bye, Miss.
Good night, Alistair. Hello, CSEC math students. I know you are busy preparing for your math and your CSEC exams coming up. I have a very important question to ask you. Do you like math? Thank you. Now, another important question. Have you ever gotten math problem wrong simply because of making one little mistake? I'm sure you have, as thousands of other students have. In this series, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes that students make with all the topics in CSEC Math. We're going to look at the common errors, demystify everything, make sure you watch every video in this series so that you can avoid making those mistakes. So stay tuned. Hello scholars, did you know that most times when students get problems wrong in mathematics is as a result of one single error or one mistake? Well, this is absolutely true. We're going to be looking at the common errors that students make in the different topics in mathematics. If we know the errors beforehand, we can certainly avoid. Take my hand.